when you come in with love, when you come in with the kingdom, when you come in with compassion and you heal what was there, it comes out into a glorious rebirth. And that's what I've experienced, and I believe that that's what Los Angeles is going to experience and is experiencing. It's going to be a glorious rebirth into their true destiny, into their true calling, into their true being. And we also did a prayer paddle on the north end of Los Angeles in Malibu today, which was a lot shorter of a paddle, a lot better conditions, sunny and calm and beautiful. And that was really fun. My daughter got to come with me on the paddleboard this time, and I was glad she didn't come with me yesterday, but I was glad she came with me today. So we got to pray over the north end and south end of Los Angeles, and then I drove through the city quite a few times, and I've had a prayer assignment on that city since January. And the person who I was giving a ride to, we prayed over the city and stopped a few times to plant the scroll of Isaiah around the city, and I believe Isaiah is very significant for this time. And so we planted seeds of Isaiah around the city as we prayed over the city of Los Angeles, and I have so much hope for the city. I have so much joy for the city. I have so much expectation. I believe my prayers. I believe the prayers of others. I believe the prayers of the saints. I believe the prayers throughout time that have been sowed into the earth, that every single one of those seeds comes to pass, and that this germinates and broadcasts to all the world. And there is just a beautiful thing of God's heart here, and the land, the creatures, the air, the soil, the water, the ocean, the ports, the businesses, the people, the diversity, the cultures, the Arabs, the Jews, all the nations gathered here. There is a blessing and a grace and a healing and a new time of just coming into identity, coming into transformation, coming into the heart of God, the divine love of God, and just beautiful things, beautiful things, beautiful things. So I will be here back and forth over the next 6 months to a year, hoping a bit more with Catch the Wave and just connecting with the people that we are given to help, but also just interceding over the city, brooding over it with the Holy Spirit, turning the little eggs and keeping them warm as they hatch out, and just believing everything that's been sown into the spirit realm, and believing all the truths, believing to manifest everything that we've believed for comes to pass. And so we've done communion on the water, we've done communion everywhere, we've done communion at Coachella. There was probably about 70% of the people I met at Coachella that were from LA. And so I believe there's a big inheritance in the kingdom in LA, big inheritance of God's goodness in LA, big inheritance of people in LA for God's kingdom and His love. So thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for praying for me. I'm thankful to be on dry land again after yesterday's paddle. I was so looking forward to being on dry land again. I crawled up on the beach and I panted for 10 minutes and shivered and rolled in the sand and snuggled against a dark rock. And yes, it was a struggle, but I am thankful. I am so thankful to have been a part of this assignment. I'm so thankful for those who partnered in faith and in prayer with me. I'm so thankful to be just synchronized with the Holy Spirit and with the love, the divine love of God. And I'm so thankful to have experienced that last week at Coachella, the coming together and the pouring out and the depth of that. So